Hey, you guys. Let me turn my volume up. I don't know if it makes a difference. Welcome back from break. I hope you had a really good time. I'm excited to hear about things you did when I am back tomorrow. This is a planned absence. I'm driving back from Michigan today, and it's a long drive, so about 12 hours. And we'll be home probably around, I'd say, 3 o'clock today. um, Today we're going to do something if I actually from before break, if we had a point and a slope, you could plug in y equals mx plus b. You could plug in 1 for y, 2 for m, 4 for x, and then put plus b and solve for b. And you can still do that. But what I'm going to ask you to do today is give this formula a chance today. So don't try the old method. Try this today because some of you are actually going to prefer this method. And you won't know that until you try it today. So again, everything you do today should be using what's called the point slope formula. And what it looks like is just a plain old y minus y sub 1, so that comes from your point, equals your slope, so m, and then in parentheses, x minus x sub 1, and x sub 1 comes from your point. I actually, sometimes I use this formula and sometimes I use the old method. So I flip-flop back and forth between the two of them. So here's what it looks like. The y is always going to stay y. I'm going to switch to text. So this y in the formula is always going to be y. And then it's always going to be minus. And it's going to be the y coordinate. So y minus 1 equals your slope, which is 2, parenthesis, x is always going to stay x, minus the x coordinate. And that's how you start. And then your job is to get it into slope-intercept form. So your first step should be to distribute, which will get us y minus 1 equals 2x minus 8. And then moving that minus 1 over by adding 1 gets us y equals 2x minus 7. And you have the equation. If you had done it the other way, I'll just show you real quick. If you'd plugged in 1 for y, 2 for m, times 4 for x, and then put plus b, you would have gotten 1 equals 8 plus b, and then subtracting 8 would have gotten us that b value of negative 7, which we see over here. So it gets us to the same place, just a different method. Let's try a couple more. Over here, y minus 4, because that's the y coordinate of the point, equals the slope, which is a half, parentheses, x minus 2. So distributing, we get y minus 4 equals 1 half x. Half times 2 is 1. And then adding the 4 to the other side, y equals 1 half x plus 3. How about one more together, and then maybe you can try a couple on your own. Y minus 0 equals 2/3, parenthesis, x minus a negative 6, so x plus 6. Y minus 0 is just y. And then distributing 2/3 x plus 4. And actually, this method is so fast for a problem like this because we're already at the answer. That's all we had to do. If you think you got it, I would say maybe pause the video and try the next 3 on your own, and then see if you got it right. But if you need a couple more examples, just kind of keep watching. Next one is y minus a negative 1, so y plus 1 equals negative 3/4, parentheses, x minus negative 8, so x plus 8. Y plus 1 equals negative 3/4 x, negative 3/4 times 8, it's going to be negative 6. And then subtracting 1, so final answer, y equals negative 3/4 x minus 7. Next one, y minus negative 3 is y plus 3 equals slope of negative 1, parenthesis, x minus the x coordinate, which is 4. Distributing is a negative 1x, and then a negative 1 times a negative 4 is a plus 4, and subtracting 3 gets us y equals negative x plus 1. Now, on this last problem, I actually am going to cheat a little. It's not cheating. I hope that you guys start to notice this. This point right here, y 0, comma, negative 9, if you think about where it is on a graph, 0, negative 9 means don't go side to side, but go down 9. So it's on the y-axis, which means it is the y-intercept. So this is actually b. So whenever x is 0, the y-coordinate is b. So really, what you can do on this problem, you can do all the work, but if you know that you have b and you have m, you can go right to y equals 4x minus 9 and be done. All right, so the next page has us using the slope formula first. And just a quick reminder, the slope formula is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And then from there, we would use the point slope formula and do y minus y1 equals m parenthesis x minus x1. I'm not going to write it because it takes me forever. So let's start by finding the slope. So negative 1 minus 7 over x2 is 1 minus a negative 3 is plus 3. So that is negative 8 over 4, which is negative 2. So that is our slope. And then, like in the last method, doesn't matter which point you pick. I'm just going to pick the second point. So I'm going to say point slope formula is y minus a negative 1 is y plus 1 equals our slope, which we found was 2, parenthesis x minus 1. So it doesn't matter which point you pick, but you have to pick both of the numbers from the same point. Distributing, why won't you enter? Go down. Okay. Distributing gets us y plus 1 equals 2x minus 2. And then subtracting 1 is y equals 2x minus 3. Again, if you think you have it, pause the video, do these on your own, and then just kind of quickly watch and check and see if you got it right. But if you need some more practice or you need to see a couple more, here we go. Y sub 2 is negative 4, minus negative 7 is plus 7, and then 3 minus a negative 6 is 3 plus 6, which gets us, this top is 3 and the bottom is 9, so 3/9 reduces to 1/3. And then going to the formula, y plus 4, I'm going to pick the second point, minus a negative is plus, equals 1/3 parenthesis x minus 3, y plus 4 equals 1/3 x minus a third of 3 is 1, and then y equals 1/3 x minus 5. Oh no, it's 11:59 right now, and UVA basketball starts in 1 minute, so we have to hurry. Okay, negative 6 minus a negative 1 is negative 6 plus 1, so that's negative 5. And then the bottom, 4 minus 2 is 2, so our slope is negative 5 over 2. It looks like an S. And I'm just going to stick with the second point because that's what I'm used to doing. Y minus a negative 6, so y plus 6 equals negative 5 halves, x minus 4. All right, so I'm almost out. Let me finish this question. And 5 halves x, let's see, negative 5 halves times negative 4 is going to become plus. 2 goes into 4 twice, times 5 is 10, and then subtracting 6 is y equals negative 5 halves x plus 4. All right, my video is going to cut out. So